Hello, I'm Rogue3, and today I'm going to be reviewing my Booster Course Pass video and comparing it with the Legend Fire Yoshi Gaming.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Like, this will be a good time. I feel like we're going to be reviewing our own opinions, seeing what we agree with, what we disagree with, and let's see how many we can get spot on.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Great. Now with all that said, let's go Rogue.
Alright, so starting off on my list, I have 3DS Toad Circuit as my least favorite track of Booster Course Pass. What did you have as yours?
I have Wii Daisy Circuit.
That's understandable. Yeah, I think I enjoy the track a good bit, but I can see why it would be at the bottom of most lists. I don't think it was the most necessary inclusion, and I really only enjoy it because it's my favorite circuit in the game. But yeah, I can see why it would be a good bit lower for your list. I think, where did I put it? I think I put it at...
Don't tell me, because
I put it at 35th. Oh. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, we're going in order. Just hold
yeah,
it out.
Yeah. Okay.
3DS
Yeah,
Toad Circuit.
I was not sure what
Anyway, 3DS Toad Circuit is pretty much considered to be the worst Booster Course Fast track. But I chose Wii Daisy Circuit because I'm really not a fan of this track. I never liked it in Wii, and when it returned to 8 Deluxe, it really just lowered my enjoyment of this track.
Yeah, that's understandable. I can see why that would be the case. But yeah. Let's see. Do you want to move on to the next track, or is there anything else?
No, not really, because 3DS Toad Circuit is a common consensus as the worst Booster Course Fast track, so there's really no explanation needed.
Yeah. Yeah, so my 47th track, I have Sunset Wilds.
Okay.
What did you have?
I had 3DS Toad Circuit.
Yeah, that's understandable. My reasoning for putting Sunset Wilds this low was fairly obvious. The layout's alright, the track is okay to race on, but removing the main gimmick really brought down the track in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree. I think that, although I have Sunset Wilds a little higher, it's not really much higher though.
Yeah, that's understandable. Right, anything else? I think that about covers it, so...
Yeah, I think so.
Moving on to the 46th track, I have Tokyo Blur as my 46th track. What do you have as yours?
I also have Tokyo Blur.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I think it's the worst of the tour cities and definitely one of the weaker tracks in the Booster Course Pass.
Yeah, I agree, because, like, this race is really not fun, and the layout is so simple, too. When you compare it to the likes of Rome Avanti and things like that sort.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There are a lot better tour city tracks And yeah, I think I would consider this to be one of the few bad ones, maybe one of the only bad ones.
I would tend to agree too.
Yeah. So, moving on to the 45th pick. I have SNES Mario Circuit free. What do you have?
I have Sunset Wilds.
Oh, yeah, I can see why. Yeah, I would consider putting it a little higher, but I do think that it's definitely one of the lower tier tracks in the basic course pass.
Yeah, like, Sunset Wilds, while obviously removing the main gimmick is what destroys this track, but, like, I find just a little bit of enjoyment over Tokyo Blur.
Yeah, I can understand that. For Mario Circuit Free, I think the reason it's here is because it's a pretty simple circuit track. I will say, I think it's the best version of it. I think it has a nice skybox. It's alright to race on, but nothing too special.
Yeah, no, that's how SNES tracks usually tend to go.
Yeah.
Especially when they keep bringing back the same Mario circuits.
Yeah, like, they really need to bring back 4 at this point. I don't think that's ever returned outside of Super Circuit.
Yeah, no, it really needs a remake, because I don't get why they keep recycling Mario Circuit 3.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if they're at least gonna recycle the Mario circuits, they could do Mario Circuit 2 again, but I do think that Mario Circuit 4 does need its time.
Yeah, I would tend to agree as well.
Yeah, so for my 44th pick, I have Paris Promenade, or Promenade, I don't really know how to pronounce it, but what do you have as your 44th pick?
I have SNES Mario Circuit 3. Again, my reasonings...
I can understand.
Again, my reasonings from your placement just carry over to this one.
Yeah. I think the reason I have Paris this low is because, it's not a bad track. I would not say that. It's got an alright layout. It is a little bit simple outside of the Piranha Plant section at the very end. But I do really like that you get to drive backwards last lap, and I do think it's an alright city track, but when you compare it to the rest of the Booster Course Pass, it's not that good.
Yeah, like, I wonder how Paris would have been if it would have been released, like, say, Wave 5 or something like that. Because, like, I think it being in Wave 1 is kind of what hurt it.
I'm actually kind of thinking the opposite. I think it was better they got it out of the way. Maybe not Wave 1, maybe it in New York Minute could have swapped placements, but I think it was better that they saved some of the later cities for Wave 5, or, yeah, Wave 5 onwards. I do agree that, Paris, could have been, how am I wording this? I do think it could have been interesting to see Paris as a later wave track, but I do think, due to its simplicity, I think it was better they got it out of the way.
Yeah, you're probably right on that. But like, I do like that they did actually use some of the the famous landmarks from Paris, like the Eiffel Tower and the Champs-Élysées.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think they made a good use of what they could with the track for how short it is.
Yeah. Definitely.
Alright, so moving on to the 43rd track, I have Calamari Desert. What do you have?
Okay, so I think we're both on the line of we're so far apart from these tracks. I have Sky High Sunday.
I can agree with that. I know Sky High Sunday isn't very well liked. I think I'm one of the few people who really enjoy it, but I do understand why it's as low as it is here. But yeah, what is your reasoning?
My reasoning is because it's just because of the layout. I will say that it's probably the best one out of the ovals such as Baby Park and Excite Bike Arena. It's probably the best one. Sky High Sunday is really solid, like in terms of the graphics and the way that they actually made it look. But I just wish that the layout wasn't an oval.
Yeah, I can agree. I will say it is, or I do agree that it is the better of the 3 oval tracks. I think the only reason I have it a bit higher is because I actually really like the design choice they went for with the ice cream theming. I probably shouldn't let the music take that big of a hold in my ranking. I will just say it is decent. I just find Sky High Sunday really fun to race on. That's really all it has going for it, especially on 200cc. I just think it's a good time.
I see.
Yeah.
But Calamari Desert?
But for Calamari Desert, yeah, I feel like this is a bit of an interesting one. I feel like, they did what they could with the track. I was never really fond of it. I do think this is the best version, and adding the alternate route for lap 2 and 3 was the best they could have done for the track. I just never found it to be that interesting. The only thing that really saves it for me is that alternate route.
Okay. I mean, Calamari Desert is my favorite desert track of all time, so, like, obviously I was excited when it came back to the Boost Course Pass, so I really like Calamari Desert, so that's why it's ranked higher in my ranking.
That's understandable. Alright. What did you have for your 42nd ranking?
For my 42nd, I have Bangkok Rush.
Yeah, I can understand that. I do think it got butchered from the tour version, but what is your reasoning?
Just that, like, I don't find any enjoyment out of racing on this track. That's pretty much my main reasoning.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's pretty much my main reasoning because like it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I can understand that.
What do you have as your 42nd?
For my 42nd, I have New York Minute. I think for the first tour track ever made, it's alright. The alternate paths aren't too bad, but I find the track to be a bit short. I think they could have done a bit more with it, but with what they did, it's not a bad track. I do think it just could have been a bit better.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like New York Minute being the very first tour track. I think it's best. I think it's best that they just got it out in Wave 2.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you have for your 41st ranking?
for my 41st, I have GBA Sky Garden.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But what is your reasoning for this?
Well, the main thing is that they butchered this track, like big time. That's the main reason, but
I can see that.
But I have more reasons. Also because while you butchered it, you made the track really short, so now you can't even get a sense of enjoyment out of it. Like, I was disappointed in this track because I really love Sky Garden in Super Circuit and in DS's remake. So seeing how it got treated here really hurt.
Yeah, I can understand that. For my 41st, I had Wii DK Summit. I feel like that's a really controversial take, probably one of the most controversial takes I have, but
I think,
I just don't think oh, sorry?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah, that's kind of a spicy take, but I think I understand why you don't like this track.
Yeah. I just, like what you said with Sky Garden, I just wish I liked the track more. I did get a lot of enjoyment out of it in Wii, but in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think it kind of plays like a custom track. Yeah, with the half pipes not working properly and with how easy it is to go out of bounds, it's just not that fun of a track in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see your argument because, like, yeah, the half pipes don't really work well in Deluxe.
Yeah. So what do you have for your 40th track?
I have New York Minute. And my reasons are pretty much the same as yours.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. For my 40th, I have DS Mario Circuit. I think the track was decent in this game, especially more than in Mario Kart DS, which it wasn't bad there either. I do think this is one of the better circuit tracks in the series. But still, I don't think it's one of the better tracks in the Booster Course Pass.
I mean, I do think that Mario Circuit did kind of get butchered a little bit because, like, they took out, like, you know, the railing with the water, like, at the beginning of the race before you go into the Piranha Plant section.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took off that hazard, so yeah, I can kind of see where you're going from, though. Even though I really like DS Mario Circuit.
Yeah, that's understandable. I do think it has, where am I going with this? I do think it is one of the better circuits in the series. I do think it plays well. It has a lot going for it, but yeah, just unfortunately was not one of my favorites. So what do you have for your 39th pick?
I have Amsterdam Drift.
Yeah, I can see why. What are your reasons?
Yeah, my reasons are pretty much the same as Bangkok's, but I find a little bit of enjoyment out of this track a little bit more, just mostly because of the second lap, where you go underwater.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just find this track kind of boring.
Yeah, I can agree. Let's see. For my 39th, I have Merry Mountain. Oh, sorry.
I just said, okay, yeah, I can get that.
Yeah. I think it's definitely my least favorite of the Tour Nitros. I think it's I think it might be a bit simpler than DK Summit, but I think the track at least plays better. But yeah, it's still really short and doesn't have too much going for it.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, the shortness of the track is kind of what drags it down, because like it could have been better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so what do you have for your 38th track?
How about you go first?
Oh, okay. I have Sky Garden. Pretty much the same reasoning as your reasons. I will agree that it got butchered. It is a good bit shorter now, but I still think it's fun to at least drive on, even if it's not as good as the original, which does hold it back to being as low as it is. But I think it's an alright track. Just nothing I would really go out of my way to play as much as some of the other tracks in this Booster Course Pass.
Yeah. But for my 38, I have 3DS Rock Mountain.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
It's mostly just because of the grass physics, but not the grass physics, the grass's graphics.
Yeah.
Because like I find
I do think they could have done better with.
Better with what?
No, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I find more enjoyment out of this track in 7, just because the grass in 7 makes it look more realistic that you're actually going through a mountain.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But you were saying?
So for my 30, I do think they could have done a lot better with the grass in some of the tracks. I know Toad Circuit's a big one. Yeah, Toad Circuit's the big one, but also, like you mentioned, Rock Mountain. I would even say Mushroom Gorge could be a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so... yeah. My 37th track would have to be Choco Mountain. I think this is the best version of the track. Like, I really like how the cave section looks with the diamonds or jewels. And I think the rock section at the end, the big thing was it was made easier with the guardrail existing at the end. But yeah. I think that was in DS as well.
I don't think it was. I don't think the guardrail was in DS.
I haven't played DS in a while.
I mean, I have like the tracks memorized in my head, so like I'm obviously like picturing Choco Mountain, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing a guardrail there.
Yeah, I know it wasn't in the 64 version, but it's been a minute since I've played DS, and I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was, actually.
Yeah, no, there's no guardrail in DS.
But yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, I don't know how it took me that long to remember. I think DS is my first Mario Kart, but yeah. No, I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, because like I play Mario Kart.
What did you have?
What I have is Bromabont.
Yeah, I can kind of see why. What's your reasoning?
my big reasoning for this is probably skill issue. That's probably my big reasoning, because I am not good at this track. I'm not good at this track in 200cc, so like I hit absolutely everything.
Yeah, that's understandable. For my 36th track, I have Blue Lake. The biggest issue I have with this track is the lack of obstacles and it being really short. But I do think the underwater section is pretty nice. But outside of that, I don't feel like the track has too much going for it.
Well, I like Blue Lake, but because of the remake. The remake, I feel like, is a massive glow up from Super Circuits, so I personally like it in that aspect. Because now there's a lake.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do think the remake is a lot better than the original, but I still find it to be quite a bit short.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. But for my
what do you have for your?
But for my 36, I actually have London Loop.
That's understandable. Yeah, what's your reasoning?
My reasoning is that sometimes I kind of forget that London Loop is in this game. So like it's fine for the most part, but like that's just it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Did you have anything you want to add?
To London Loop?
Yeah.
No, not really, because, like I said, in my opinion, it's just forgettable, and also, it's just fine.
Yeah. So for my 35th, I put Daisy Circuit. I kind of spoiled this at the beginning, but I think it's the best circuit track in the game, or in the series, really. But yeah, I do get some enjoyment out of this one, outside of it being a bit short. But I do like the layout via sunset. Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent circuit track.
Yeah, I can see that, but again, I'm not really a Daisy Circuit enjoyer.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But for my 35th, I have Los Angeles Laps.
I can agree with this as well. But what's your reasoning?
Like, I recently found out that I'm really good at this track. I don't know how or why I'm really good at this track, because it's not really one of my favorites to play on. Just because like there's just something about it. I don't know what it is that like I don't find enjoyable. But
yeah, I think the main thing for me was
But at least I get a little bit more enjoyment out of this track than London Loop.
Yeah, I can agree. Yeah, I'll talk about the track more later on. But let's see. For my 34th pick, I'm actually kind of surprised I put this this low. But I have Madrid Drive. I think the main reason I had it this low was because I found it to be kind of similar to other city tracks outside of the soccer section, the museum section. And even those sections are really short, but I do think the track's still a good time, fun to drive on. But yeah, I do wish the more unique sections were a bit longer.
Yeah, that's understandable. Well, but for my 34th, I have Choco Mountain.
Yeah, I can agree with this.
Like, Choco Mountain, was one of my favorites, was one of my favorite, remakes in DS, so I was really excited for this track, but then when I saw it, I couldn't even recognize it. It's like the whole thing changed.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely did change a lot from, I think the tour version brought a lot of these changes, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Other than that, there's really nothing much going for this track.
Yeah. Right. So for my 33rd track, I have Snowland. Another one I'm surprised is this, but I think the shortness of the track really brings it down a bit. But I still really enjoy racing on it. I think the penguins make for good obstacles. But yeah, I would just consider it not. I wouldn't consider it one of my favorite snow tracks in the game.
I can see that. Snowland's not bad. It's decent, but like the GBA tracks are kind of short if you play on the faster speeds, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But for my 33rd, I have Athens Dash.
Yeah, I can agree with this.
Like, the reason being is that Athens Dash was supposed to be a city track, and this track is the least city-like I've seen.
Yeah.
So, like, Athens...
Yeah, I think that's understandable.
Yeah, like, Athens is alright. Is a fun track. But, like, I just don't see it as a city track. I see it more as, like a ruins track that Nintendo could have done differently.
Yeah, I agree. So for my 32nd track, I have Rock Mountain. I think the main reason is there's not too much going on with this track outside of lighting, which can be a good and a bad thing. It's one of the few tracks to do this, but also that makes it so there's not much going on outside of the section at the end with the rocks falling down the mountain, and you have to try to avoid them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But for my 32nd, I have Coconut Mall.
I can agree with this as well.
Cause like for some reason I just do not like the Coconut Mall remakes that 7 and 8 brought out. I guess I only like Coconut Mall in the original. But this version just doesn't look good. And on top of everything, when it came out, the cars didn't move, so they removed the hazard. And it just wasn't as fun as it was in Wii.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the Wii had a lot of unique features to the tracks, like or to this track. I know there were a lot more maze around. I know this version still has some of the Piantas, but I feel like there were a lot more in the Mario Kart Wii version, and they just removed a lot of the detail that the Wii version had.
Yeah, that's another reason why I don't like this track.
Yeah, that's understandable. So for my 31st track, I have Riverside Park. I think this was the best GBA track in the Booster Course Pass. I think the main reason is it looks really nice. I think the track, despite the track being really simple, I think the tour version and this version as well did what they could with the track. Made it a bit more interesting, but it is still relatively simple outside of walking piranha plants.
Yeah, I can see that. Like Riverside Park did add the walking plants, so I'll give it a pass on that. But for my 31st, I actually have Paris Promenade. Now, my reasoning is because since I've actually visited Paris once in my life, I actually can recognize a lot of these features. So it was really nice to see these features in the Booster Course Pass.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so I get a slight enjoyment out of this track.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. Let's see. For my 30th track, I have surprisingly Sydney Sprint. I feel like this is also pretty low for as far as city tracks go, but I do think it's a really good track. I like the design, the layout. I just never got behind it as much as a lot of other people did. I feel like this is one of the more overhyped cities, I guess I could say. But it's still a good time. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I can see your reasons. My 30th is GBA Snowland.
Yeah, I can agree with this.
Yeah, like my reasons are pretty much the same as yours, but like I have a slight enjoyment out of this track just because I got the shortcuts.
Yeah, that too. I failed to mention that, but it does have some nice shortcuts.
So yeah, like nailing those shortcuts is really satisfying.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, what do you have for your 29th?
29th. Sorry.
So what do you have for your 29th?
I have Amsterdam Drift.
Amsterdam?
Yeah, I have Amsterdam Drift. Yeah. I think, the only reason it's this high is, like you mentioned earlier, thanks to the underwater section, but it does have, some nice, what am I going for? I like the, background. I think the, buildings and, especially the, nature-like scenery, really helps bring the track up, in my opinion. But, yeah, I think it's a fun track to race on, but the water section definitely brings it up a lot.
Yeah, definitely. The water section is definitely the best part of the whole track. So I can see why you place it as high as you did.
Yeah.
But my 29th is Riverside Park. Now, my main reason is because this track actually got a huge glow up from its original. Like, the grass actually looks like grass, and you can actually go through a waterfall at the end of the lap.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So I definitely get a little bit of enjoyment out of this track.
Yeah, I can see why. Let's see. So for my 28th, I have Wee Mushroom Gorge. I think this is one of the better versions of it. I'm not sure if I would like it more than the original. I think the only thing it's missing is the Ultra shortcut, which of course is to be expected. It would be really crazy if Nintendo actually brought those over, especially since I doubt they're even intentional, but yeah, I think it's a fun track overall. I think it's fun to race on, the layout's nice. I like the addition of the glider mushroom, and they kept the gap cut at the end, so yeah, I don't think it did anything to really weaken the track.
Do you think it did anything to upgrade the track?
I think the big thing it did to upgrade was the addition of the glider mushroom, or yeah, the blue mushroom in the cave. And I do think the cave section looks really nice. Yeah, I think those were the biggest upgrades. Even if the glider mushroom was in Mario Kart 7, I think it was positioned a bit better here.
Yeah, I can see that. But for my 28th, I have Madrid Drive. Now, I do really like this track a lot, but I just enjoyed the other 27 tracks a little bit more than Madrid Drive, mostly because of fewer reasons. Because, like, you know, the main attractions were too short. But overall, I think this track is really solid.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So for my 27th track, I had Sky High Sunday. Looking back on this now, I think this is probably the one opinion I want to stand by. I do think it's a bit high, even if it is fun to race on. But some of the tracks that were put below it, say Mushroom Gorge, Riverside Park, Sydney Sprint, stuff like that, I would probably put above it now. I still think it looks alright. It is really colorful. And it is fun to race on, but I do think I kind of overshot this opinion.
Okay. Like, yeah, that opinion can be unpopular or even a hot take. But I know how much you like Sky High Sunday, so yeah, it's a respectable placement.
Yeah.
But for my 27th, I chose Daisy Cruiser. Now, my main reasoning for this is a mix of two things. One being that I am not good at this track, and two being that, like, while it does look like fun to race around a cruise, I just don't really buy it.
That's understandable. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like, it's fine, it's good, it's fun, I would say, but like it just doesn't convince me.
Yeah, that's understandable. Let's see, for my 26, I have London Loop. I think my main reason for this is I can actually do really well on the track, so that always helps. But I do think it has a pretty nice layout, especially for a wave-free city track. It doesn't look terrible either. So yeah, I definitely get some enjoyment out of this one. Just not as much as the other 25 above it.
I mean, yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from with London Loop. But for my 26, I have a Wave 3 course, that being Merry Mountain.
Yeah, I can agree with this.
Now, I don't know whether this track being in 26 would be a hot take or not, but like, despite it being short, I think that like, it did really well representing the Christmas theme.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, because like this track coming out on Christmas time, it was honestly the perfect time for it to come out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So my 25th pick was Berlin Byways. I know this and London Loop are both really close to each other. Um, in my track ranking, that's because I get about the same amount of enjoyment from both tracks. Yeah, I think this one does a lot right. The traffic is really cool. I liked all three lap variations, and I think the track does look pretty nice.
What do you prefer, this music or Tour's music?
I think I might be one of the few who prefers the 8 Deluxe music, just because I really like the beginning. I feel like that was a really big improvement over the Tour version, but I can see where everyone is coming from with liking the Tour version more.
Yeah, Berlin Byways is a fun track. But for my 25th, I have Moonview Highway.
Oh.
Yeah, like Moonview Highway is probably one of the best traffic courses, but I think I only like this version in Wii because I feel like they nerfed Moonview Highway with the speed of the cars.
Yeah, I can agree.
So that's pretty much my main reasoning. It's just that I think that they made this track a little bit easier than what it was in the Wii version. So that's pretty much my reasoning.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my 24th pick, I have Coconut Mall. Like I mentioned earlier, I this last a lot of the original that we had. Launch the spin move. Now they move in a bit of a different pattern. I'm not as bothered by that. I think the track looks decent. It's still fun to play on, but I feel like it had a lot more I guess you could say uniqueness in the original. There were a lot more enemies hanging around. There were some more fun signs. Were a lot more piazzas inside of the mall. Yeah, I feel like it's lacking a lot of that, but outside of it, it's still a fun track to race on. Just not as good as the original.
Yeah, no, like I can totally see that because like while we still enjoy Coconut Mall to this day, I guess I'm just not a big fan of the remakes. Although this remake is probably the worst version of Coconut Mall, it's still I will agree with you, it's still kind of fun to race on.
Yeah, I can see where you're thinking from. What did you have your 24th pick?
For my 24th, I actually had Mushroom Gorge. Now, Mushroom Gorge is one of my favorite Wii tracks. Here, I just don't really see much of a difference compared to the original, other than the cave section and the extra mushroom, like before you enter the cave. So I still really enjoy this track, even though it got updated and everything. I still enjoy this track. I just enjoy the other 23 more than this one.
I can understand where you're coming from with that. Let's see. So for my 23rd pick, I have Los Angeles Leps. I'm not gonna lie, like the Tour version more. I like the how Tour had the sunrise kind of skybox instead of it just being a daytime city track, and I actually prefer Tour's music, which I'm not really gonna let get in the way of how I would think the track. I think track itself is really fun to play on. The layout is great. I enjoy being able to fly over Dodger Stadium, and I think Minefield, I don't think that's the word for it. I think it's oil rigs or something like that. During the last lap. I think those are a great addition as well. I find the track really fun to race on. I think it has a great layout. The only thing really holding it back is it being daytime. I feel like if it had the sunrise from the Tour skybox, I think it would be a lot more unique.
Oh, okay, yeah, like LA Labs is a really good track in a deluxe, but I think the original would be slightly better because of the sunrise.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you have for your 23rd pick?
For my 23rd, I have GBA Boo Lake. Now,
Understandable.
yeah, like Boo Lake from its original, like I couldn't even recognize this track because it just got such a massive glow up that like it actually looks a lot better than what it did in the original. That this track actually surprised me with how well it was
I
made.
definitely agree with that. Oh, sorry.
No, I just said that it really surprised me with how well it was made.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I do think I was really surprised by how the track turned out as well. And playing it in tour was really surprising. I think it came out maybe a few months before. Yeah, it came out a few months before it did make deluxe, but yeah, it was a real nice surprise.
Yeah, and yeah.
Alright, so for my 22nd pick, I have Athens Ash. I do agree with you on it not really feeling like a city track. But I think that's also kind of a reason I have it this high. I think it's a lot more unique than, say, New York, Paris, Tokyo, even Amsterdam, which I think was only released by the water section. But yeah, I think this is one of the more unique city tracks, and I think that's why I have it up as high as it is. It's a nice layout, really fun to drive on. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can kind of see people say that like because Athens Dash it doesn't really feel like a city track, that they really like it because of that aspect. And while I agree with you that it is still kind of a fun time to race on, for me it just doesn't convince me as much as the other ones do.
I can see where you're coming from. So what do you have for your 22nd pick?
For my 22nd, I have Piranha Plant Cove.
That's
Not gonna lie, this track kind of surprised me, cause like I really love that this is an underwater track, because I don't think we've gotten an underwater track until like since Wario Shipyard, I would say.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten one. So like this track being an underwater track is what really brings it up for me, because I love the underwater tracks.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
So yeah, like that's why I like this track a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I find the underwater tricks to be really enjoyable. I did like Dolphin Shoals, but I feel like that kind of took place underwater, but it also had a lot more out of water sections, I would say.
Yeah, and Piranha Plant Cove does have some out of water sections, but even those sections are really short, and you're just back in the water in no time.
Great, so for my 21st pick, I have Bang Bug Rush. So this is the one take where probably won't agree with it now. I still think it's fun to race on. It does have a fun layout, but it got kind of butchered from the tour version. That is, the tour version had these inky piranha plants that would spit out ink on the trick. The deluxe version does not have that. I feel like if it had the ink piranha plants, it would have been for a really unique enemy or an obstacle in the track. But yeah, it really surprised me that they were able to add the fire spin piranha plant in Mario Circuit for the DS, but not the ink spitting piranha plants. If I were to rank it now, I would probably put it a bit lower. I'm not sure just by how much. Probably below LA Laps, but I think it's still fun to drive on. I just wish it had been a little bit closer to the Tour original and keep on some of the enemies that removed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Bangkok for me is one of those tracks I just find boring to race on, just because nothing in that track really interests me. So like every time I race on it, it's like okay, I just finished racing and I don't even remember what I was racing on.
I can understand that as well. I think the Skybox is kind of save it for me. I do find it to be one of the more unique looking Sid tracks, but I can agree that it doesn't have too much going on outside of bounding on the Terps the last lap. I find that section to be really enjoyable, but outside of that, I can see where you're coming from.
Okay.
So what do you have for your 21st pick?
I have Berlin Byways. Yeah, Berlin Byways. I had high hopes for this track. And while I'm not trying to let the music affect my ranking here, I do think that I prefer the tour version of this track just because of the intro only. Because I do like the chorus from 8 Deluxes. But I overall think that this track did really well representing Germany.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I can see why the tour version would be better when it comes to the music. But yeah, I definitely agree that it does represent the city or Germany very well.
Yeah, definitely. And Berlin Byway is also kind of like a traffic course as well. Also is a nice touch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Great. So, my 20th track is Daisy Cruiser. So, initially, I thought I ranked this one kind of low when I first did it, but looking at the other 19 tracks, I feel like it being in the 20th slot just feels right. I still love the track. I think it's really unique. I like driving on it, like how the trip looks. I really don't have any problems, but I think this is the best version. Yeah, the other 19 tracks were just better.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I know that I put Daisy Cruiser kind of lower, but that's because I just prefer the other ones over it. It's still a good track. It's decent. I would even argue it's kind of fun, but for me, it just doesn't convince me.
Yeah, that's understandable. So what do you have for your 20th track?
I have Koopa Cape.
That's...
Yeah, like Koopa Cape is one of my favorite Wii Nitros, so I like that they brought this back. But at the same time, it's still the same Mario Kart 7 version instead of the Wii version, so that's what kind of brings it down a little bit, and that's why I will stay at 20th, because while I still like the track, I still think that they removed some of the hazards that it had from Wii.
I can see that.
Yeah, like the pipe section.
Well, I feel like I've gone first for a lot of these for a while. Would you like to first for your 19th track?
Sure. For my 19th, I have Shroom Ridge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Shroom Ridge, not gonna lie, it's underrated in DS, so the fact that they brought it back here was really good, and I would even argue that it's probably the second best track in all of Wave 1, because like this track got a massive glow up, the music got a massive glow up, and also they added shortcuts. So yeah, I really enjoy this track and the way it actually came out here.
I definitely agree with everything you're saying. I do find the track to be really underrated. I'm really glad that they brought it back to give it the love it really deserves.
Yeah, and the addition of shortcuts was really nice too, because like we didn't have that in DS.
Yeah.
So what do you have for your 19?
I have Piranha Plant Cove. I really wasn't expecting to like this track as much as I did, but I think I played this in Tor first when it first added to Tor, and I think it was a decent intro, not one of my favorites, but then I played it in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I really appreciated the track a lot more. I think it looks a lot better. It's really fun to race on, especially the underwater sections. Yeah, I think that's a fun layout, really fun to race on, and I think it looks a lot better from the board version.
Yeah, I would agree. Piranha Plant Cove is a really fun track to race on.
So, what do you have for your 18th track?
Okay, this one kind of might be controversial, but I have DS Mario Circuit.
I can see that. What are your reasonings?
My reasonings is because like I really like what they did with this track with the part after you go through the pipe. I really enjoy that section a lot. And while I think that they did kind of remove the water at the beginning of the race, I still really enjoy this track just because of nostalgia, I would say. But other than that, like this track, I feel like they did really well with it, especially with adding a wiggler at the end of lap 3.
I definitely agree with that. I think I picked to mention the section after the pipe. So even though I did place really low, I do have to give it credit for that section in particular.
Yeah. But what do you have for your 18?
My 18th track, I have Waluigi Pinball. I think some people might expect it to be higher, and if I'm being honest, it is my favorite version of the track. I find it a lot more fun to race on here than I did in either Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart 7. I think the brighter colors really help with that. I think that's a really fun track. The Ever 17 just kind of weigh it.
Yeah, I can kind of say that. I mean, I love Waluigi Pinball, so it's my favorite track of all time. But I can kind of see your arguments there, as well. I don't think that this version, that Mario Kart 8's version, is my favorite, but I'll still give it credit because it still looks really nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you have for your 17th track?
I have Peach Gardens.
Nice.
Yeah, like, not gonna lie, when this track was announced, I was kind of disappointed because I was kind of like hoping we get a better DS Nitro, such as Airship Fortress or even Delfino Square. But honestly, this track really surprised me with the final lap. Yeah, but like honestly, this track really surprised me with the final lap. Yeah, like I did not expect to go backwards, and like when I remembered that there was a mission in DS where you have to drive backwards, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Now we can actually now that Nintendo actually did tributes to that mission mode, so I think that this track actually deserved its credit for that reason alone.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but what do you have for your 17?
I also have Peach Gardens.
Oh.
So when I first found out about the track being added, it wasn't even when Nintendo actually showed it. I know there was some kind of music that happened with Wave 2. And I was so disappointed in myself for actually watching that before finding out what all the tricks were, because this one really surprised me in a good way. I would have never predicted this one, but I'm actually really happy that it got in. I will say it's a lot easier than the Mario Kart DS and Mario Wii version, especially in that big area of the chain chomps.
Yeah.
I think the backwards lap really makes up for it. They made use of that secret path that was in the DS and Wii version, but when unused. So I'm really glad that found a use for that, and I think it worked really well this way. For the rest of the tracks, simplicity.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Peach Gardens, definitely. After seeing what they did with Peach Gardens, I think it definitely deserved its spot.
Yeah, I agree. But when you have your 16th track,
For my 16th, I have Sydney Sprint. Yeah, Sydney Sprint, not gonna lie, most of it goes to the music, and I do really like the way it came out. So like the shortcuts you could take, the fact that they added the Sydney Opera House, I really enjoy this track a lot. It's one that I would just play and just vibe to.
I can definitely see that.
But yeah, that's mainly my reason why. It's just a fun track. Well, at least for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely agree. Even though it plays a bit lower in my ranking, I still think it's a fun track. And I do think it's fun to drive on. Music is really good. Just had some tough competition for me.
Yeah. But what do you have for your 16?
For my 16th, I have Rome Bonte. I was pleasantly surprised with this track. Noticed, it's actually kind of funny that my three favorite city tracks are all of the nighttime ones. But this one, I think looks really great in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. After playing it in horror, really happy that they saved this one for the last wave. I think has one of the better city layout, and I think it's really fun to race on, especially the last lap of Chain Chomps and the Coliseum. Yeah, I think it does a really good job of representing Rome, and yeah, I think it's a really fun city track.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So what do you have for... Oh, sorry?
No, yeah, I kind of agree with you on Rome Avanti. I just put it lower just because I'm not good at the track, so obviously like I obviously cannot get a sense of enjoyment out of it because like I'm like what's the word for it? Yeah, it's just basically mostly a skill issue for me.
Yeah, that's understandable. You can see. So what would your 15th track be?
My 15th is Calamari Desert.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much my reasonings were the ones that you said, were pretty much the ones I said for when you put Calamari Desert. I really like this track a lot. It's my favorite desert course. And also, driving on the tracks, the way they changed lap 2 and 3 really made this track really good, in my opinion.
I can agree with that. I think this is the best version of it. Unfortunately, I was just never too big on track. I think it's better than some better, but I also think there are a few better ones out there, but I can definitely agree that this is the best version of it, and, yeah. It's really good that you enjoy it.
Yeah, I really like this track, and I was hyped when this track was announced.
Now that's understandable.
But what do you have for your 15?
For my 15th, I have Coupe. I was a bit surprised that I had a bit high, but even with the changes from the original version, I find this a lot of fun to drive on, especially on 200cc. But even without it, I think I really like racing on the track. In the tunnel section, I think anti-gravity made it a lot of fun. And not letting the music control my ranking, but just fun to point out that they brought back all three sections of the music this time. Even Mario Kart's been only had music can be underwater music, so I'm really happy that they remix version of the River Payback.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Koopa Cape is really good.
You have your 14th track.
For my 14th, I have DK Mountain. Yeah, like this track was definitely a big upgrade from the GameCube and the Wii. Although I think I would kind of prefer the Wii version a little bit better. But this track is still really fun. Although I kind of would have preferred if they brought back Dino Jungle better. This track was still really good.
I can understand that. Definitely agree with a lot of your reasoning as well.
Yeah. But what do you have as your 14th?
I have Shroom Rush. He mentioned earlier, I was really surprised when they brought this back, especially when it was one of the first states to be added. Yeah, I think this is a good improvement on the DS version, which I already found to be really good. Additional shortcuts really made the track a lot better. I think the track does look nice, even though some people have problems with the graphics. I don't think I do. I think it does look pretty decent. But yeah, I think it's really a track overall, and I'm glad it got the revival that it deserves.
Yeah, no, definitely. Shroom Ridge is just one of the better Wave 1 tracks that it came out, so yeah, I definitely agree, because like they definitely went all out with this track.
Absolutely. What's your 13th favorite?
I have Vancouver Velocity.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I did not expect to like this track as much as I did. This track really did really well coming out in Wave 5. And honestly, the winter theme and all the references to Vancouver really went really well with this track.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, like also we got like really good music out of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do you have for your 13th?
For my 13th, I have Moonview Highway. I was really surprised that I had this one this high. I do find it a lot of fun to race on, even if there are less cars and cars are a lot slower. The track layout is more or less the same. I was really surprised when they brought this one back, but I'm really glad that they did, and yeah, I find it to be a really fun track, and I think it got one of the best remixes in the entirety of the Source Pass.
Yeah, no, Moonview Highway was definitely a surprise, but it was definitely a welcome surprise, because like this track was completely unexpected, and what they did with it was really good. But for me, I just feel like they nerfed it.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah.
What do you have for your 12 pick?
For my 12, I have Singapore Speedway. Yeah, Singapore Speedway is by far the best city track in the whole Booster Course Pass. So that's why it's this high up. This track was overall a fun time. The attention to detail that they put into this track was really well done. So overall this track is really fun to play on, and the music is such a vibe.
I agree with everything said about Singapore. I think it has one of the best. I'll save my opinion for later.
Okay.
Yeah, but for my number 12, I have Waluigi Stadium. I was really surprised that I had this above Daisy Circuit, or not Daisy Circuit, Daisy Cruiser. Especially because I preferred Daisy Cruiser over Waluigi Stadium in Double Dash. They did so much right with Waluigi Stadium. Even though they got rid of the sunset, I don't think it was a terrible change to make track happen at night. And then the additional paths you could take after Piranha Pit section and that one wider section before the finish line. I think those were real good additions, and it makes the track stand out a lot more. Other than that, it's a real fun track to race on, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Because like Waluigi Stadium is a really fun track. It was fun in Double Dash, it was fun in Wii, and it's still fun in 8 Deluxe.
Absolutely. What do you have for your 11th track?
For my 11th, I have Waluigi Stadium.
Nice.
Yeah, my reasonings were pretty much the same as yours. I'm not particularly good at this track, but I still enjoy playing on this track. Because, like, everything about it is just so fun to do, like the trick shots, the drifting, and the alternate path as well, as you mentioned. Those are really fun to take.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, Waluigi Stadium definitely just fell short of the top 10, but it's still a really good track.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you have as your 11th?
My 11th is Vancouver Velocity. I had a lot of fun with this one when it first came out in tour. Some racing I really liked snow tracks and really all of Mario Kart outside of Vanilla Lakes, N64 Sherbet Land, and I would say the original Snowland as well. But for a set track, I think this one is really good. The first lap is amazing, and I really like that you can drive through a hockey stadium for second and third laps. So yeah, I would say really fun track. It's a fun layout, and like you mentioned, real good music as well. Even though it fell short of top 10, I would still consider it a real good track.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Vancouver is a really good track.
Yeah. So, what do you have for your number 10?
For my number 10, I have DK Summit.
Nice.
Yeah, I know you don't particularly like this version of DK Summit, and honestly, I see your reasonings as well because the half pipes don't work well. But honestly, I never found that to be an issue because nothing of the sort ever happened to me because like I always knew how the half pipes worked.
That's understandable. I think that's definitely a bit of a selection on my part.
Yeah, but like this track is still a fun time. they still brought back the double shortcuts, and honestly, I still have I still have a lot of enjoyment for this track as well. So that's why it takes the number 10 spot.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think I was a bit harsh on DK Summit when I made this ranking. I played it a lot more recently. I do get a good bit of enjoyment out of it. I'm not sure where I would rank it properly, but I do think it's a lot better than I gave credit for initially.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, like DK Summit is still a fun track overall.
Yeah, I agree.
But what do you have for your 10?
For my 10th track, I have DK Mountain. I was really happy they brought this one back. This was one of my favorites in Double Dash. Outside of course, Bowser's Castle and Rainbow Road. But yeah, it was one of my favorite retros in Mario Kart Wii as well, and I think it plays pretty much the same. As minus the motion controls, which of course can be avoided by using a GameCube controller, but it feels a lot better putting it on here. Yeah, I think everything was kept intact. It looks nice. Even though the GAPA isn't as useful as Viewer 2 games, the fact that they kept it in, yeah, I would say, where am I going with this? Yeah, I would say it's a really good track overall. It didn't really do anything that hurt it. So, yeah, that's why I made my top.
Yeah, I can totally see that. DK Mountain is a very popular GCN track, so I think it definitely deserves a spot in the Booster Force Pass. And your reasonings are pretty much the same reason why I think that. But yeah, DK Mountain is overall a good track.
Yeah, I think the main reason I wanted it over Dino Dino Jungle, which there's nothing wrong with that track either, but I think these tracks are based off of their Tor remakes, and the Tor remake for Dino Dino Jungle just does not look that good in my opinion. They could fix that in Mario Kart Deluxe, of course, but I just really wanted DK Mountain over it.
I see. Yeah, that's understandable.
But what do you have for your 9th track?
For my number 9, I have Rosalina's Ice World.
Nice.
Yeah, I know how much you like this track a lot. But like me,
Yeah.
if I would have made this, if I were going off my Mario Kart 7 bias on Rosalina's Ice World, I would have probably put Rosalina's Ice World pretty low. But this remake really exceeded my expectations, and it was the only surprise of Wave 6, because all the other tracks were kind of predictable at this point, but this one was really a surprise. So I was really excited to see what they did with it, and they absolutely nailed this remake.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, but yeah, if you would have asked me where I would have ranked Rosalina's Ice World, like 2 years ago, I would have probably put it at the bottom.
It's fair.
Yeah, but now with the remake, it's really good.
Yeah.
But what do you have for your 9th?
So for my 9, I have Ninja Hideaway. For a long time, this was my favorite in the Booster Force Pass up until about Wave 3, I want to say. Yeah, it's a really fun track. One of the most unique and fun layouts in my opinion. Really like the theming around it, and doesn't really impact the ranking, but the music is really good. I like how many secret paths or shortcuts there are, and yeah, I think it adds a lot of value to the track. Good one in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for 100%, Ninja Hideaway is one of the hardest tracks in all of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's still one of the most fun ones as well.
I definitely agree. bit of a funny story. I play this game with some of my IRL friends. Not as much anymore, but we did a lot of it, or we played it a lot back when early waves were coming out, and they did not like this track. I think the main reason was because they didn't like how difficult it was, but I had a time. They just were not into it at all, which I found to be kind of funny, but I also understand why. But yeah.
That is funny, but honestly, yeah, like Ninja Hideaway is not really for everyone. Like, especially if you're like just getting, especially if you're new to Mario Kart. But overall, it's still a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. What do you have for your 8th track?
I have Waluigi Pinball.
Nice.
Yeah, Waluigi Pinball, like I said, is my favorite Mario Kart track of all time. But like I said, I only like it in the original. While I don't particularly mind 7's version because it looks kind of the same as DS's, over here in Mario Kart 8, I was at first sight I was not a big fan of it, but then the more I race on it, the more I started to get a little bit more of enjoyment out of it. So I actually don't mind it here now.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Like I like when this track was announced, I was hyped. So I was really happy that this track actually got added in. But I really do wish they would have done they would have changed the music like they did with the circuits in Mario Kart Stadium. Like they did with Mario Circuit and Mario Kart Stadium.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to see.
I definitely agree with that. I find it kind of odd that Mario Stadium and Waluigi Pinball are the only tracks in the game that share music, but at the same time, I can kind of understand why they didn't want to go out of their way to make a new remix when there was already one right there.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Well, but at least it's only a minor thing, because I still really enjoy this track.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But what do you have for your number 8?
For my number 8, I have Maple Freeway. I was fully expecting to enjoy this track, but I don't think I was expecting just how much I would enjoy it. It's more or less the same layout. Brought Half-Pipe back, which is always a good thing. No bridge at the end, but that's been a thing since Mario Kart 7, so I wasn't too bothered by it. I think the main reason it's high is because I really enjoyed the blow up the visuals got. It looks really nice, and yeah, I think this is one of the better looking tracks in the Booster Course S.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll give my opinions on Maple Tree when I get there.
Yeah, I understand. What do you have for your number 7?
For my number 7, I have Wii Rainbow Road.
Nice.
Not gonna lie, the thing that brings this track down for me was the fact that Daisy Circuit got added. When I saw that Daisy Circuit was announced, it really made me want this track to just disappear for just a second and let GC and Rainbow Road take its place.
I can understand that. I definitely agree as well.
Although I will say that overall, I think that this track looks really well and it's still fun to play on like it was on Wii. I think that the fact that they just added Daisy Circuit is what made this track go down a little bit for me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But I still enjoy this track, and the music is a nice remake as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but what do you have for your number 7?
For my number 7, I have 3DS Rainbow Road. I was expecting this one to get added, even without a music leak. It was already in tour, and I knew it would be a perfect way to end off, either Wave 3 or Wave 6, so yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I love how the road looks, everything about the track looks great. Even the music. I would say music's better in this game, but that's also because, I really like the style of music they went for. I know a lot of people prefer the original music, but I really like the remix.
Yeah, like 3DS Rainbow Road it was probably one of the best remakes that they could have done for the Booster Force Pass. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, the music is really good. While I think that I prefer the original over it, I still think that the music in 8 Deluxe is still really good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, what do you have for your 6th track?
For my 6, I have SNES Bowser Castle 3.
Nice.
Yeah, like, this track completely blew Wave 6 out. Because, like, this track, the glow up it got was just unbelievable to the point where I couldn't even recognize it from the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, the music was a nice upgrade. The fact that this castle actually looks like a castle is what makes this track really, really good. And and probably, in my opinion, the best track in all of Wave 6.
I can see that. Yeah, I would definitely agree. I'll talk about it, pretty soon, actually.
Well, okay, well, what do you have as your number 6?
SNES Bowser Castle 3.
Oh.
Yeah, but, I think it got a really good glow up. I was hesitant, to think about what they could do with it when it got added to Tour, but it looked so good in this game. The remix it got was incredible. I think the reason I was so hesitant at the start was because I was really hoping for GTN's Bowser Castle to get added, but it wasn't in Tour. It wasn't gonna get added. So yeah, I'll definitely take this. It's a lot better than I expected. It's a lot of fun to race on. Got a good flow, great music. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This track exceeded everyone's expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you have for your 5th track?
For my number 5, I have Ninja Hideaway.
Nice.
Yeah, if you would have told me that if you asked me like what was my favorite track when Wave 1 came out, I would have 100% said Shroom Ridge. But then I started to really play on this track a lot more, and I started to enjoy it more and more, especially on 200cc. Although I'm not really good at this track in 200cc, it's still really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. Even when Wave 1 first came out, I could not put the track down. I tried so hard to get really good at it, and yeah, I had a really fun time doing so.
Yeah, no, Ninja Hideaway was by far, in terms of, it took a while for this track to grow on me, but once it did, I could not discuss that it was, I could not even debate that it was the best track in all of Wave 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But what do you have as your number 5?
For my number 5, I have Yoshi's Island. So this track, I remember watching the Direct it was announced in, and I was stun-locked after seeing it. It looks incredible. Like, I cannot wait to actually race on the track. I surprisingly haven't played too many of the Yoshi's Island games, but I loved all of the references they snuck into the track. It's really fun to race on. Great music. Great track overall. I was shocked that this wasn't my favorite track of Wave 4. But I should mention the bridge shortcut at the end with the cloud in the gliding section. Really nice addition.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will give my opinions on Yoshi's Island once I get there. They're pretty much the same as yours, but I have a few more details.
So, what do you for your number 4?
For my number 4, I have Maple Tree Way.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I was like hyped for this track when it was announced in Wave 3 because I thought we were gonna get it in Wave 6. But the fact that they brought it over to Wave 3, I was hyped because like this is my favorite Wii Nitro. So the fact that it actually got brought back and they actually did really good with it is why I have it. Is why I have it at number 4.
I definitely agree as well. I was really surprised when they moved this up to Wave 3. I guess after seeing how Waves 5 and 6 turned out, I guess we know why, but yeah, I do think it's a really good track overall, and I am really happy that it got moved up as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. While there's no net in this track, I don't really mind it because like I've already been used to Mario Kart 7's version for a while, so that really didn't affect anything.
I agree.
Yeah. But what do you have as your number 4?
For my number 4, I have Squeaky Clean Sprint. This track really surprised me as well. I really love the layout. Like Piranha Plant Cove, I think it has a lot of good underwater sections, even if it's not as much underwater. But I don't think it really needed to be. The fact that we got a track themed around a bathroom is honestly really cool. And kind of like Ninja Hideaway, there are a few different secret routes are really fun to take, and I get a lot of enjoyment with the track. Great out, great music. Has some great obstacles, or some of these aren't even obstacles, but yeah, I love the bath bomb in the water section, or yeah, I guess it's the top section. I think there's a Goomba in like a floaty as well above water, but yeah, I think it's a real good track.
Yeah, definitely. Squeaky Clean Sprint was definitely the highlight of Wave 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, what do you have for your third track?
For my third, I have Squeaky Clean Sprint.
Nice.
Yeah, my reasonings were pretty much the same as yours, but the thing is that like when I saw this track in the direct, like I was completely blown away by this track. Cause like this track really blew my expectations out. Cause this track was so much fun to play on. The music is really good, and also the fact that it really represents a bathroom really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But what do you have for your number 3?
So for my number 3, I have Singapore Speedway. If anyone had asked me about, I want to say when the Booster Course Pass first started, the city track would be in my top 3, I probably would have said no. Singapore Speedway was already my favorite city track in tour, and the glow up it got in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is insane. I love visuals of the layout, and the music is so good. One of them's in the game. Yeah, I really enjoy the track as a whole. Really fun to race on, and even though it's picked for my top 3, I would say that's all pretty accurate.
Absolutely. Singapore is by far the best city track in both Tour and a Deluxe, so I can see why you put it as your top 3.
Definitely. And what do you have for your second pick?
My second, I have Yoshi's Island.
Nice.
I'm gonna lie, I have never played a Yoshi's Island game.
That's fair.
So like, the fact that this track got second place in the whole ranking proves that this track really did well representing Yoshi's Island, because since I've never played Yoshi's Island, the references that this track gave us literally made me feel like I was playing Yoshi's Island for the first time. And that's why I enjoy this track so much, and it's by far my favorite Nitro in all of the Booster Course Pass.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised that it wasn't my favorite Nitro or in my favorite Tour track. Yeah, still really good. I agree with everything you mentioned.
Yeah, and like you mentioned with that shortcut, and at the end with the cloud and the gliding, yeah, that shortcut, you really gotta work for it, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But what do you have for your second placement?
For my second placement, I have Wii Rainbow Road. So back when all of these leaks were happening, the prefix leak, we'll kind of regret looking at it, but again, I don't think it actually turned out to be too accurate. It was at the start, but we got a lot more Wii tracks than what was actually planned. I was just hoping that this one in Wave 6 would be Wii Rainbow Road. I think this track best defines my nostalgia for Mario Kart, and the glove it got here is so good. I love how the road looks. The music is really good. I like that the track is entirely in anti-gravity, and it's really cool that they kept the gap cut, even the new shortcut, the half pipe section where you're jumping from part of the course to the other. It lets you skip the half pipe entirely, and I find that to be real cool. And it's a cool little Easter egg that they kept the how do I explain this? When you fall off the track, it's really cool that they have your character like burning downwards, or yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
No, that was
really good track overall.
Yeah, no, it's a really good track. The only reason why I put it lower was, like I said, is because of Daisy Circuit. Because like once that was announced first, it really just made me hope that Wii Rainbow Road wouldn't get added. But overall, yeah, I agree with you. It's still a fun track. It's still nice. They kept a lot of the little details that we had, so I think it's still a great track.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from as well. Like, I think we did get too many Wii tracks in the DLC, but I'm alright with it. But yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from. GTN Rainbow Road would have made for a great addition, but I'm alright with this one getting added instead.
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, it was the perfect pick to end off the Booster Course Pass, so yeah. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, what do you have for your favorite track in the Booster Course Pass?
My favorite is 3DS Rainbow Road.
Nice.
Yeah, like this track is my favorite Rainbow Road in all of all time. It was my favorite in 7. And also this track got a massive glow up. The road looks really nice. I was blown away by this track completely. because like I didn't know how they could actually make an already good track even better. And while I think that it looks and while I think that it does look really nice in this track, in terms of music, I think I still prefer the original. But I absolutely adore this track and how it came out here in the Booster Course Pass.
Yeah, I agree. I think I didn't get as much enjoyment out of it in Mario Kart 7 for some reason, but the Booster Course Pass version made me appreciate the track a lot more in both versions, especially after revisiting it in Mario Kart 7. I really started to come around to the track, and I do think that it is a really good pick for your favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. This track is, I would even argue, probably my favorite track in all of Mario Kart 8, but I have not done a ranking for that yet, so I don't know yet.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But what do you have as your favorite?
My favorite, shocker of the year, Rosalina's Ice World.
Wow, really?
So, yes, yeah.
I did
no
not see
way.
that coming.
Plot twisted, we Rainbow Road 2. Sorry, what was that?
Wow, that was a huge surprise.
Yeah, no, plot twist, it's actually we Rainbow Road 2. But yeah, I think the main reason this was my favorite was just because of the shock value I had when it actually made it into the DLC. I thought there was no way. It's my favorite track in Mario Kart 7 just because I love the atmosphere, I love music, love the layout, everything about this track. I love it. Said one way to put it, but yeah, I think it looks really great here. I would have never predicted it to actually make it. So when it did, I was not prepared for the glow up it got. Track looks so much better. Even though I really liked how it looked in Mario Kart 7, they really improved it a lot. The additional half pipes and the additional shortcut at the end really made the track stand out, and yeah, it's definitely, I would consider it my favorite in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I also have to do a ranking of the base game tracks, but I think this might take it.
Yeah, like that's why I have like Rosalina's Ice World in my top 10. It's because mostly of the shock factor. I was not prepared for this track to actually be added because I didn't think it would. After we got 3DS Rainbow Road, I didn't think they were gonna add any more 3DS tracks. So when this track was announced, I was shocked. And like your reasonings, I also really liked everything that they did because the remake was really faithful. And they added shortcuts and half pipes, which made the track better. And yeah, pretty much all your reasonings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would have expected more 3DS tracks after Rainbow Road, but even if I did, this wouldn't have been it. I would have probably predicted Wario Shift or Shy Bazaar because I think those two are more of fan favorites compared to this track, but I'm so happy they went with this one. It's definitely my favorite in the game. Might be up there as one of my favorites in the series, but I honestly don't know. I might have to revisit all of the older ones and see.
Yeah, I can see that. I would also have to do the same because like I don't know if because like because I don't because like if I were ranking every single Nitro track, then my winner would not be 3DS Rainbow Road, but it would definitely be up there.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar position with Ice World.
Alright, that's gonna do it for me and Fire Yoshi. We have talked for like the last 2 hours about our opinions, and I was genuinely surprised that we got only 3 tracks. But then again, that's how opinions goes. What did you think of this whole experience?
I think this whole experience was a lot of fun. Definitely really fun to see other people's opinions and compare them to your own, which, to be honest, I agree with a lot of your takes.
Yeah, I can also say the same with you, because like I can also agree with some of your takes as well. And also that, yeah, this was definitely an experience, and honestly, I really recommend a lot of people do this kind of things, because honestly, you'd be surprised how much you guys have in common.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and also subscribe to Fire Yoshi, because he also makes really, really, really great content as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for having me on, and be sure to subscribe to Rogue as well. He also makes great content.
I really appreciate that. But with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.